not be quiet? I want you to be quiet. Left. Get down left. Get down left. Quiet.
Miami police.
Left. Get down left. Get down left. Why not be quiet? I want you to be quiet. Left.
Well, good evening. Hunting Evil, True Crime isn't here right now. Michael Phillips isn't here right now. Fight for Justice isn't here right now. Who you're listening to right now is the informant under the name Baffy. Baffy. Where this informant name came from. At first, they were wanting to call me Daffy Duck or something like that. About 2012, 2011, 2012, when Michael seen a campaign that the Homeland Security was campaigning under the See Something, Say Something law. When Michael, his roommate, and girlfriend was confronted by individuals within a very large, goes under the four letters K group here in Indiana. I want you to, we're going to rewind to Michael going into kindergarten. His best friend down the road was adopted South African by the name Ernzo. Michael and this kid grew up together, started going to school in Hamilton Heights Elementary. This is Michael's best friend. Besides my next door neighbor, which is an older girl, ended up being my babysitter with me and my little brother. But Michael, his best friend, Ernzo, one of my first best friends. But we're going to fast forward to about, like I said, 2011, 2012, when the FBI informant name of Baffy came to be. It was under white collar and blue collar crimes, Klan, and the like. I got one of the largest clans dismembered from the inside out. Easy middle school and high school drama. He said, she said, and it caused hell. Multiple arrests. Imagine that. After about 2-3 years, kind of getting tired of it, Baffy decided, I'm going to go back to normal life. We're going to fast forward a few years. And let's say around 2014, 2015, Baffy started seeing some See Something, Say Something. But it was foreign and domestic terrorism. So Baffy had to go through the process of getting the informant status back. Baffy had to go through some high-ranking individuals' signatures and approvals based off the information I was providing on the foreign and domestic terrorism threats. This is left-wing extremism, right-wing extremism, foreign, like the Indiana ISIS couple, among others. So after going through the process, getting the signatures of some high-up individuals, I was assigned an agent by the name of Michael Curtis out of the FBI Indianapolis field office down there in Indianapolis. So we're going to pick out some cases like Bruce, Bruce, Doccette, Bruce Dockett, sovereign citizen, fake judge, threats to real judges, Wasn't just any threats, it was threats of death. Baffy got this individual 38 years, among many others. So Baffy has a long track history in the federal court with the FBI of getting results, foreign and domestic. Left, right wing, it didn't matter. I was unbiased. I seen the threat. I was able to mold myself, get what I needed out of said individuals, said groups, to make their arrest. We're going to fast forward where Baffy, Michael, on his way home, October 10th, 2016. I, my girlfriend, her mother, Michael Curtis, his older, now retired, just like Michael, partner, and his new partner, a younger Mel, about my age. Only we knew my informant status. I knew that in the back of my mind, if something really went wrong, I needed help, who and what I was. Having his number in my cell phone and was given the direct cell phone to his when he needed me, he called me. If I was to need him and help instead of calling the locals, I was to call him. My phone was dead at the time. We're going to go fast forward to when I stopped and helped Karina McClurkin, missing and killed out of Kokomo, Indiana, October 11th, 2016. Turning me not just an FBI informant, active, but into a federal witness in a missing, presumed foul play turned out to be murder case. For around 4 hours, going into October 11th, 2016. I stopped, I helped with two cell phones on me. One was dead, that had minutes on it. The other one, I could only, through an app, when I got home, had internet access, use. Both cell phones, the minutes and the one I used with apps to call and text, were both dead in my pocket. The only cell phone being used is Karina McClurkin's cell phone, which I watched this girl go from about 3/4 of battery down to just a few percentage of that cell phone. She was worried that her cell phone was going to die. But then she got a hold of one, Paige Turley. How she eventually told me how she knew Paige Turley was it was her girlfriend's, not her girlfriend's, but her sister's ex-girlfriend. This is the only way she had her in her cell phone, and it was a last resort. Paige received texts from one Karina McClurkin off her number, and then ended up calling her. With this being done, it was agreed upon, even though she just got done, the bars just closed, she shouldn't not be driving, but closing in about 4 a.m., agreed to come pick Karina McClurkin up right beside Washington Street, catty corner from the Speedway on Washington Marklet. This is later confirmed of a one Gabriel Sebastian Ellis, DOC number 16:44:11. Jerry McClurkin admits that yes, Gabrielle told her everything on a jail visit, including Flint Farmer, the one Indiana State Police, the locals, are pinning instead of the others everything on, with little to no evidence of he is the sole killer. Sounds familiar? We're going to get back to Baffy Wise. After helping one Karina McClurkin becoming a federal eyewitness, I was allowed to become a victim by December that year. One individual that sits documented in my records that Baffy just got full access back to hard copies. That's recording phone calls with one Agent Michael Curtis and Baffy, the text messages, the emails. This will become very important in one Karina McClurkin's case and others. The same cartel, drug ring, serial killer, dealers, and the ones under their control, like Gabriel Ellis, were involved in. This has been sitting between conversations between one Baffy and a field service agent handler, Michael Curtis. Days after Karina's been missing, presumed foul play, I documented her cousin and her boyfriend's conversation. She refused to tell him on social media what she wanted to tell him, what she needed to tell him. Agreed to telling him off social media. And during this, he comes back on the same thread. I can't believe she's dead. I cried when I heard. This is right before the family, who loves to make up stories, keep in mind. In 2-year time frame, Sierra Daly, Karina McClurkin, 9 other family members, a total of 9 family members of the mother's side of Karina McClurkin within 2 years, all documented, missing cases, every single one of them found after social media posts, but one. The same family that knew she was dead, the boyfriend cried when he heard, was making up stories. But you remember back when Baffy said Karina's McClurkin's cell phone was nearly dead? This is where Jerry McClurkin made a mistake. Marlena Smith, the same Marlena Smith that is documented, audio and video, that she was contacted by the other suspects, naming these suspects, their role, how, what, and their involvement in one Karina McClurkin's missing case. I want you to keep in mind Jerry McClurkin in the jailhouse visit, audio and video recording. Gabe Ellis admits that yes, Baffy, all he knew was Michael Phillips, aka Mike Phillips, did stop and help Karina, like he said, for hours. Karina McClurkin was picked up by Paige Turley. did come out to his trailer. And that's where both of their stories start changing in drastic ways. But I want you to keep in mind these individuals, this ring, actions between me and them, what they've done, and have recently, like federal raid suspect Tyler Joe Fritz, his actual threats, knowing who and what I am still to this day, decides to send an email. Within this email, I know where you live. We plan to come see you. There's been actions taken around my house. Shots have already been fired. I got a front yard stump that took a direct hit. The stalking, the harassment, the intimidation. I've faced worse people, worse individuals, both foreign and domestic terrorism suspects, worse than you will ever be. But shortly right after Karina McClurkin, her case, right after this drug ring, look up each and every single individual on a witness list when it comes to Flora. What drug ring? The criminal and the social media network analysis. For those of you who are slow, analysis meaning what is showing. The criminal network, moving on to social media networks, YouTube, like certain commenters on some pages like Michael Myers might want to do their My Case Indiana records on the dealers you're praising in your commenting sections. I've never been here to become this next creator. I've been here as Baffy, speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You thought Larry Nasser from the FBI Indianapolis field office, knowing intel, refusing to act, and allowing a child predator to go on, victim after victim after victim, begging, going into the Indianapolis field office, talking to agents, begging for help. It only took a federal lawsuit for Larry Nasser, his victims, to finally start being heard. Well, Baffy is about to be heard loud and clear. Michael Curtis, Baffy's handler. New intel, refused to act. Suspects sitting in Baffy's FBI informant files. When I became a witness in Karina McClurkin's case, every single name that is involved in her case, down to the firefighter, the corruption, all these hard copies, the texts, the emails over the years, the recorded calls, when this agent told me to document everything, no matter how small of a detail it may be. I follow that to a T, still do to this day. But the contents, the hard copies, the cell data that I have in my possession now, it will show you days right after Karina McClurkin's case, just hours after Flora. The Sons of Odin, the Odinism issue that so many of you are trying to dispel and downplay, was a federal domestic terrorism threat to human life, just days after Karina McClurkin. The names I was providing him, like Gabriel Ellis, Cal Stacy, the one that delivered the hot shot to ensure Karina McClurkin died Those of you who are asking how I know this is the recorded conversation I had with her mother, with a plethora of collared, which means their vest on, motorcycle gang members from her left to her right going up and down the sidewalk. It wasn't just me there, witnessing, listening. You had two agents sitting down the road. Followed Brewster Fitz, where I met him at the Mobile Ground Shakers old clubhouse, right across the street from Milwaukee Iron. Picking him up there and him guiding me. You can hear every single word. Where to turn, how far to go down, left, right. It's all documented. The firefighter she named paid Gabriel Ellis while he was trafficking Karina. It was all documented. And Baffy is about to show everything. Actions are about to be taken. Those of you who are trying to discredit Brad Holder, his militia group, Lightfoot Militia, another one he was close and around with, American Patriots, 3%. How about his Norse and pagan kindred, the Indiana Tears, Hellhounds, Norse and pagan kindred? This was all documented on record. It took a lot. Days right after Karina, me speaking the truth on individuals involved with her case. Like I said, this is all the hard copies, the documents. You can't hide. You can't delete. You can't edit. You can't omit. The cell data. I've got it all. Down to the who, the what, the when, the why, and above all, where. From the very start of the gathering, being asked in a text message from Michael Curtis to look up the sons of Odin, the Odinism angle, Delphi, Peru, Kokomo, and that only general surrounding area, town by town, city by city, text by text, only looking in this direction in this area, showing that you have Gabriel Ellis, Brad Holder, Kyle Stacy, 2016. For years, they were already involved with that angle. The who, what, when, where, and why. It took months, days upon days, gigabyte by gigabyte of in-person and gathering of information from a human source, Baffy, for the agent Michael Curtis to finally get the go-ahead around February 10th to start in-person, on location surveillance. February 11th, 2017. Between the 11th and 12th, a certain location, a group, and certain individuals. Baffy was what the FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force, was already in Delphi prior to Delphi ever happening. The who, what, when, where, and why. You can't hide. You can't edit. You can't omit. If it takes being seen by millions, so be it. It wasn't my lies, disregard, negligence, total disregard for an informant turned witness allowed in 2016 to become a victim of the same criminal drug ring that went on, and dealers within said drug ring doing serial killings. They attempted a takeout of my life and the ones I was living with, multiple cars. This is sitting in documented conversations. I'll come up and get this documented months and months, a year prior to Delphi. Names, individuals, groups, a criminal network that was already showing up in Karina McClurkin's case was documented, known. New intel refused to act by Michael Curtis. It's about to be acted on, among so much more. The actions, the threats, the intimidation, the stalking that even is going on right when I am speaking to you now. Red Sparling, look up his dealing, Kokomo, Indiana. Tyler French in emails, him and other federal dealers who were picked up in raids 2018. Watch and laugh. You can laugh, but guess what? Remember the name Baffy, who's the bigger wolf. I'm coming for you. And it's not just me. More than one case is going full federal. There is other agents, other agencies that will act where Michael Curtis refused to. Suspects within Baffy's files were allowed to be going on to commit serial killings. Remember, I've got the hard copies. Do I release it to the masses? Why Doug Carter decided to lie to the public. The general public may be safe, but even when INPD Officer Garland Odell Cooper and the Indianapolis Metro Police Department were making ties and connections, that cell data, that conversation on ties and connections, Indianapolis and surrounding areas, back to Karina McClurkin and Delphi, the hardest three cases. I've got the hardest and federally backed documentation. There is about to be a federal special prosecutor, and all it takes is taking this stand on who and what I was. Tick tock, tick tock. When I go quiet, Geronimo.